Imagine going to the doctors and feeling like you're literally about to pass out from fatigue and exhaustion. As soon as you get in, you wait patiently for the front desk to call your name. You sit diligently, and while you hope your name's next on the list, you hear your doctor call you, and he takes you to a more private setting. So you sit down, he does a protocol. He checks your heart rate, he checks your temperature, and he checks your breathing. He eventually asks you a few questions. A few follow-up questions are of the usual. He diagnoses you with just a code, and you know what? He prescribes you with just some over-the-counter medicine to remedy the sickness. You're in and out in less than 10 minutes, and you know what? You still feel sick after taking that medicine. This is a growing and lingering problem in the United States healthcare system today. Doctors do not take the time needed or to properly examine and evaluate the patients. This may be because they do not have the luxury to examine every one of the patients that come in, or quite frankly, they just don't care because they're being paid by the amount of patients they see rather than the effectiveness of each checkup. Therefore, we will focus on primary prevention and secondary prevention because 20% of the people in America who have symptoms of the disease or have the disease itself take up 80% of the US healthcare budget, according to the National Committee for Quality Assurance. To help resolve and alleviate my problem, my proposition is to work diligently towards a system that differs from how doctors are being paid and awarded as of right now. Currently, our payment system is a fee-for-service system that is around 15 years old. We need to move away from this generic approach and not stop worrying about how many patients we generate, how many tests we order. Rather, we must use a pay-for-performance system, which not only improves quality, but improves efficiency. What is a pay-for-performance system, you might ask? Well, it's a system that is based off a value-based payment plan, which is used by purchasers to promote quality and value of the healthcare services. The goal of a value-based program system is to transition from a pure volume-based payment system, such as a fee-for-service system, into one that is more tied directly into successful outcomes. The way a pay-for-performance system works is that there is a set salary, okay, and which there is an amount given to a health professional regardless of how they perform. This is where it gets interesting, though. There are a lot of levels focusing on individuals and groups. I'll be looking mainly at the individuals. Also, a difference between the contribution to the base salary. There is one that is added directly into the base pay and one that is not. If an individual does well, he has the ability to earn a merit plan or even commission bonuses. What are merit plans, you may ask? Merit plans are usually plans or incentives that are given to employees that operate on the highest level. There are usually easy ways to determine one's ability or eligibility on a clear-cut criteria set by the health organization. These professionals are then placed in categories and rankings and are awarded accordingly. A commission bonus is an X amount of money that is given to an employee that is separate from his or her base pay. The goal for the pay performance system is the three main goals: to motivate the employees to perform at the maximum potential that they can. 2, it gives a reason for the employee to want to stay. And 3, it also attracts professionals that come to want to work with us. These goals can be very beneficial because it gives each and every patient the proper diagnosis they need because the doctors are operating at the highest level and are meticulous about every diagnosis. This, which in turn means that they can early detect the indicators and signs of certain diseases. This will lead to treatment being performed quicker, less patients being on diseases that will continue to evolve and grow to become harder to treat, ultimately lowering the total cost of the United States healthcare budget. The United States currently spends about 80% of its primary budget on about 20% of the population. Within the 20% of people, it includes individuals who have early symptoms of a disease or already have the disease fully developed. It is definitely much more difficult to treat disease when it's refined. This can include but not limited to illnesses such as cancer, heart disease, and tuberculosis, and many more. If we were able to spot indicators sooner, it means that we were able to start treatment a lot quicker, and this is when the disease is most vulnerable. A personal experience I've actually had with this situation was when my uncle was in remission from cancer. We were told from the doctors that the cancer in his neck was gone, and we had nothing to worry about. But just to be safe for the next 5 years, they were going to continue monitoring him. Within these next 5 years, about every 6 months or so, he would get these checkups, which they were supposed to make sure there wasn't anything growing or any returns. When the 5-year mark came, and his final checkup was due, they found out that the cancer had spread to all his organs. It really shambled my family when my aunt told us. It was just so sad to think that, you know what, after all these tests and whatever they run, we were with the idea that the cancer was here and now The moral of the story is, if they were to run more extensive tests and did a little more looking into if he had cancer or not, he wouldn't have to be battling for his life today. When doctors and health professionals have the luxury and the means to spend more time on each individual patient because they want the incentives, they will be more likely to examine each patient more thoroughly. Around 44,000 to 98,000 Americans die each year because of medical errors made, according to the healthcare delivery system in the United States. What makes this news so exciting is the fact that most of these cases they're preventable. Not only that, but that they will only be able to focus on questions that may pertain to key indicators of something much more serious, such as a chronic or acute disease. It is quite simple. If they spot a disease quicker, they can respond quicker, which in turn means the patient gets a fighting chance because the disease is not at its devastating state yet. So instead of focusing our funds on 20% of Americans with the symptoms and the diseases already, we should focus our funds towards a system that is a value-based payment, which not only acts as a primary and secondary prevention, it also motivates doctors and health professionals to perform to their best of their abilities. As amazing as this plan may sound, there's kinks and cons to every solution. These issues may include questions such as how much pay should depend solely on their performance, how should performance-based pay be funded, and who should be paid for the performances. These are the main questions I think that would make a solid point as to why we must start transitioning towards this type of system. To answer the first question, I believe that pay deficiencies should depend and fluctuate and vary based on the employee's profession and difficulty of the task. With anything, there are always external factors that affect the outcome, so you must take these into account as well. I believe that the funds should come directly from the government, as they already do. But the thing is, government agencies must allocate funding based on the existing salaries they already have. This basically means that regardless if they meet or pass their performance goal, they cannot exceed the budget they are given. But I truly believe that if we move towards this pay for performance system, we will save so much money, we can allocate more of it towards the budget. In short, it means that we get a bigger and better budget to work with. And because there is a budget restraining the amount of money that can be spent, I propose a cap or control point to the amount of bonuses or pay increases that an individual can receive in one annual year. This still makes way for favorable incentives. Last, I truly believe in order to make things extra competitive that only the top level performers should be eligible for pay increases or bonuses. This makes it easier on the budget and it makes it more competitive for all employees so they do not get lazy or content. I strongly believe that this is a major concern in our healthcare system today. People are continuing to get sick and we're just passing them by as if they're all just numbers. Moving towards a pay-for-performance system will not only improve quality of life and health of the citizens, but keep doctors striving to the best that they can be. Thank you.